All right.
Good morning. Welcome to
Voice.
Voice.
Am I coming through there?
Yeah, you are. It was a feedback a little bit, but let's try to fix it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But it's a feedback, so you might have to turn something down on your end.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Because we just lost the audio. We just lost audio. All right,
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me do this so I'm getting a little feedback. All right. What's happening, y'all?
What's going on, Captain?
Hey, man, I'm all good, man.
So how you feeling, man?
I'm getting better. Getting better. I'm kind of getting, because I'm getting your audio.
So you getting the feedback from our audio?
Yeah, because I can hear you on the video link, but then I'm also,
So let's turn your video link. Either mute your video link. So let's try that and see if that'll work better.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Still getting the feedback, so hopefully.
So do it on your end, Keith. So you should be able to mute your.
I did. I just muted the camera.
Okay.
But see, I won't. Yeah, I can do this.
So we can still see you.
All right.
All right.
I'll deal with it, man, until y'all get the audio straight. Hey, good morning, Milwaukee. Welcome to Community Voice. And I'm your host, Keith Parris, and I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Wow. Michelle cut out?
Yeah, she had to go handle that.
Yeah, she's doing her social work.
Yeah, man, that was a sad situation, man, just to see that young lady go through what she was going through, and just for her to cry out like that. But I'm gonna tell you something, man, that you just never know how God works, man, because she told me, she was like, man, I was praying that, that God will help me, and I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know what to do. And here I come picking her up from the hospital, and she get in the car, and for me, when I'm doing rides, I'm always cordial and I'm always friendly. So I spoke to her. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And I heard it in her voice. So I kind of turned around to see what was going on. She just boo-hooing, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" So she was trying to tell me. So I had pulled over and I just calmed her down. And I was like, "Hey, listen, just calm down for a second, and then tell me what's happening, and maybe I can help you." And she got to telling me, what happened, and I was just broken because as she was telling me, she was crying out, and her son, her 5-year-old son, that was sitting next to her, he just reached over and hugged her, and he was like, "Mommy, it's okay. I got you." And I'm looking at this 5-year-old hugging his mama, encouraging his mama. I was like, man, wow. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah. So you were working left.
Yeah, man. I was working left, and man, I looked at the actual, call when it came in, and I was, contemplating on taking it. So I'm like, man, let me take it anyway. So I took it, and yeah, man, that's how we ended up. Man, I picked her up from the hospital. She'd been at the hospital all morning because she said that she was throwing up blood from an ulcer that she found that she had.
Yes, that worries.
Yeah, so she was worried and stressing, trying to figure out, how and what she was going to do because she had to be out of that place by 3:00. And like, I just don't understand, just as a human being, why would you, do that to a person that's struggling and man, that they struggling.
Right.
People that do that, man, it ain't nothing good gonna happen.
No,
Nothing good gonna happen.
No, nothing's good is coming out of that, man. So, but I'm grateful that that God is still in the miracle working business, and He sent people that that was in place that was able to actually help her, through me and Shell and a couple other people that was able to step in and kind of make some stuff happen. And I mean, one thing about it, man, I don't look for my rewards from men or women or or anybody. Man, I just want God to be pleased, and that's what I was able to do. I was in position to help, and just being connected and making some phone calls, and that's the whole thing of being connected to people. You just never know who people are connected to. So,
yep. Clark Kent, what's happening, man?
Who you with?
Hey, man, I was with you Saturday.
yeah, that was pretty nice, man.
Yeah, I was with you Saturday. Let me do this real quickly, and then we'll get into the program. I also send my condolences to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Farrakhan family and the Nation of Islam, losing Mother Khadija Farrakhan. Wow, they're quite a saint. In the Nation of Islam, we go back to Mother Claire Muhammad, and then we think also now Mother Khadija Farrakhan. So to the family, certainly they're in our prayers. From everything, it appears she was a righteous woman. And I just thought about that Proverbs 38, where it talks about the virtuous woman. And so certainly we send our condolences and prayers out to the family as she's made her transition. And then Michelle was talking about it. Yesterday was Keon Jackson Malone's birthday, the gifted and talented one. And so certainly he's missed. It was funny because I kind of had the same sentiment when Michelle was talking about you coming in, Jermaine. But, because originally Keon didn't start with me, it was Rick. And so I don't know what happened with Rick. Rick had a lot of things going on. And because I think Keon was working, I don't know if he was doing Michelle's program. I know he had come back to do the Man Show. And then he became my engineer and producer. And boy, oh boy, in the 6 years being this dude, I was like, oh man. And Martha Love had said to me when I started, she said, look out for Keon. He's a good kid. And but boy, I'm telling you, there were some days It'd be like this Negro here. You know, I mean, it'd be, and that wasn't the word I used.
Right.
And he does the same thing about me. And the fact that Keon and I would sit and have these arguments about religion, I would point out to Keon, I said, other than funerals, dude, the last time you was in church was in the early 90s. Oh, man. I know I could get him going like I get you going when I was referred to divinity and the feminine. Oh, man. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
And so Keon told me, he said, yeah, man. He said, I'll never join your church. Church you were at. I said, I wouldn't want your ass to be a member of the church. You ain't heard my feelings. As a matter of fact, you be on my bar list and be like, who can join? He can't join.
He can't.
But Keon, man, good heart, good brother. We fellow cancers. Because at one point it was me, Keon, Homer. I don't know if Rick was a cancer, and then Faith. So we have a lot of cancers up in the spot. They used to drive Michelle nuts because, you know, she's a Leo. So, but anyway, miss him, man, miss him. African culture says, as long as your loved one's name is continually on their lips, they live forever. And so certainly he has eternal rest, and I'm sure he's up there getting on the creator's nerve. Yeah. You know, just doing what he does. And I hate, you know, people always get, you know, the last time I talked to him, well, literally, you know, the day before, because Keon was going to do something for my mom. And so it was like, and then who was I talking to? And I remember where I was and the time. I was in my mom's hospital room. Here we take mom down for gallbladder surgery. It is like 12:58, and Michelle called and says, Keon is dead. I was like, no. I mean, I just hollered, and then I had to call Rhonda, you know, because he called Rhonda the manager. I don't even talk to you. I'll just talk to the manager. I don't need to talk to you. But really, you know, really good brother, man. And you know, it's all these things around us that makes our essence, right? Who we are, our good, our bad, you know, our genius, our failures, all those things, man. But he was a good brother, and certainly miss him. And so we're going to continue to shout him out. I know yesterday, I kept thinking I should have announced it at church yesterday.
Man, so it's been 2 years, man, since his passing.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in August. Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. So appreciate him, and you know, just the NOV family, man. I really feel like it's family.
Yeah.
You know, when we kind of, and I ain't saying we don't go at each other, because that does happen. But like in any family, man, you know, it just be like, but it was good. Other than that, how was your weekend, Ryder?
Man, it was pretty good, man. It was productive. You know, I got a lot done. So that's always good when it's productive. So, yeah. Yeah,
we had Youth and Children's Day yesterday. It would normally be the second Sunday in June, but I had another obligation, so the church was gracious enough to move it to fourth Sunday. And man, it was really good. I mean, you know, now I grew up in Metropolitan where they put the kids to work. Okay, right. Like when I was in the youth choir, we sang every Sunday, right? And then we get fifth Sunday, but they put us to work. And I'm thinking the same thing with the kids, like put them to work, you know? So yesterday they had a choir, and let me thank our minister of music, Brother James. He really worked with the kids. And you know what? Easier working with kids than working with adults.
Yeah, Doc, tell me about it. Jesus.
Because, you know, kids, they don't know nothing. They ain't pushing back like adults, and adults come in doing their thing. So I just know that was just refreshing for him. And so they sang, but they did. There's two young people from the McEwen family, Heavenly and Dante, and one plays the violin, one plays the cello.
Nice.
And so we normally do Amazing Grace as the sermonic hymn. So they did Amazing Grace. It was so beautiful, man, because the kids' voices were so light. To hear the violin and to hear the cello, it was beautiful, man. God, it was just like, Rhonda said, I wish we could do it every Sunday. Because, you know, we take Amazing Grace into it. It's hard, but this was so beautiful, and you really could see just how beautiful a melody it was. And so, man, let me shout out all the kids. We give them certificates of completion, you know, when they move to the next level. And this one little, you know, now there's been some kids been in children's church with us since me and Rhonda's been there. And but this one little girl, she had come, she's part of the family. So we didn't have her name, so we had to do her certificate there. And so she took it to pastor, had him sign it. And then she's standing there looking at me, and she goes, I'm looking at her, and I'm going, "Would the pastor sign it?" And then she said to somebody about me, "He didn't sign it." I go, who are you? Oh, man, she got all up in my grill. Hey, you know what's crazy, man? Across the street, the young lady, she has one of those little small dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And so she had just got off. She's a nurse, and she just got off. And so she brought her dog out. Well, I'm looking out the window, and a coyote is walking up the street.
What?
Yeah, she had to pick up her dog because, you know, they go after those little dogs. Yeah, it was a coyote.
They go after you, too.
Oh, thank you for telling me that. I won't be out on my porch anytime soon.
Yeah, Doc, you'd be like, trying to get away.
Any chance you get to scare brother, you go scare brother.
You
right?
better believe it, Jack.
So anyway, yeah. So it was a good weekend, man. Really, you know, preaching, sitting down right out. It's something.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, especially when you used to moving around. If you
I can't use my arms. You know, it's just like I'm limited, but they make accommodations. And like I said, I'm getting better.
Now, I was going to ask you this. Now, you know, I'm always, you know, thinking about something. And I was going to ask, do you think that maybe because you kept calling God a she, that maybe he kind of took his two fingers and kind of poked you a little bit?
I would think that would probably be in the rib area, wouldn't it?
Hey, he can poke you wherever he want to poke you. That thorn that's in your side.
Oh, that thorn in my side ain't because of that. Yeah, well, I'm living for better and for worse right now, dude. I'm telling you, sickness and health, you know, and it just be like, somebody asked Rhonda, they said, does he have a little bell? You know, like Martin had that bell. Yeah, I wish I would ring a bell, y'all.
Hey, he wouldn't be. Hey.
Right.
Him and that bell. Hey, the him and that bell be on the outside. He gonna let me in.
Right. Hey, no, he'll be like Fred Flintstone. Wilma!
Wait a minute. You be hearing me on Tuesdays and Thursdays when Northwest be announcing funeral.
Right. Funeral service as for will be held at WNOV.
They're like, what'd he do?
Right.
Kept ringing that bell.
kept ringing that doggone bell. Take that bell along with you over in glory. Amen.
Oh man, I got, and you know, it's funny, man. This is some inside baseball, but I'm very particular about my laundry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Ron and I, we do our own laundry because we have our own ways of doing laundry.
Right.
And so, you know, now I'm depending on her to do, you know, my laundry, help me with the laundry.
It's rough.
Hey man, but I'm getting better.
Yeah.
I'm getting better, man. I am definitely.
God said, you know what? cheeks be swollen.
Dude, man, you know, it's just like, and I don't like asking people for stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and this goes back to me and my mama. I would need stuff, and I would not ask my mother, you know, because I didn't want to feel like I was a burden.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely don't like. But yeah, I have to shout out my wife. And then yesterday, man, those kids had a fellowship. Oh, they ate good. They ate good yesterday. So let me thank all the folks who came down, who contributed, the folks who work with them. It's great. I at this age, I love children's church. So, all right, you're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice. And yeah, I was looking in the chat. Oh, no, let me do this. Black Music Month spotlight is Miss Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill.
Hold on.
Excuse me, Keith Parris.
Yeah.
Can you give us the rest of your head and body? We got half the body here. No, other way. There you go. That's a little bit.
All right. Can you hear me?
And then you scoot over so we still get half a body again.
So scoot to your left or to your right. Wait.
Ask your teacher, and we'll see you in Sunday school. Jeez.
Hey, can you all hear me through, or you hear me through the phone, or you hear me through the video?
Phone line. So
we don't know yet. Turn the phone down once and see if we can hear. Now keep talking to me, Keith. What'd you say?
I said, are you hearing me through the link?
Yeah.
Or you hear me through the phone?
Yeah, through the phone.
Oh, yeah. You got to save your minutes? Wait, you remember week and off-peak hours?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Again. Keith, what are you doing?
Yeah. Is that better?
Look, and then he scoots over. You're getting there. It was good to see you Saturday, man. You look like you were moving a lot better than you were the previous time I saw you.
Oh, man. It is getting better.
Did you pay for all of that walking at North Division?
No, actually, that was good. I need to walk. And so that was good. That was good. Real good walk. Someone had put in the chat. And so let's do Lauryn Hill. I think she's still talking. I don't know if anybody watched the BET Awards last night. First of all, yeah, man, that tribute that they did to her, for her. And then she sang, and then she got up and she just started rambling, just talking. But, what a phenomenal voice. And she, that Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, Apple considered it the greatest album, of all time. It's number 10 on Rolling Stone. So it was good to see her, voice is still good. But yeah, who will ever forget the fact that they did that song from Sister Act 2?
One night that she took home?
Yeah, that's when, for that album, she took home 5.
Wow.
So good to see her. I understand there's some issues around her touring right now, but and then her daughter came out and sang. Yeah, her daughter came out and she sang. But let me shout out Drewski. He was good last night. He was really good last night, man. I mean, the brother was funny. The skits was funny. When they was putting up people's net worth, and he put up Tyler Perry's net worth, and then they put up Stevie Wonder's net worth, they put it up in Braille. I thought, man, that was clever.
They put it up in Braille?
They put it up in Braille. And he said, well, you can't see it. But
Keith, I was just looking at your background, man. That looked like the room you ain't supposed to be in.
Oh, it's the same room, just a different angle.
Yeah, because when I was coming over, there were certain rooms you didn't go in. The one with the plastic on the furniture and stuff. You didn't.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is the dining room. And Clark was complaining about that picture, so I thought he was complaining about the picture, so I thought I'd just
about that picture too, man.
Oh man, everybody on that picture. That's my mama's picture, man. So, you talk about that picture, you talk about my mama.
What you say about my mama?
What you say about my mama picture?
My mama picture.
my mama picture. Yeah, that's what. So anyway, so Miss Lauryn Hill.
As they come in, the Supreme Court decisions?
Yeah, I just saw that they declined to not take up the defamation case, but they just ruled that he can't fire people from independent agencies. And so I think he can't.
Okay.
Yeah, let me pull up New York Times.
Did they come out with birthright citizenship yet?
That one I don't think they've announced yet. Let's see. Yeah. Justice carved out exception for Federal Reserve says that the court allowed President Trump to fire independent government regulators, but in a separate ruling, they made an exception for the Federal Reserve. Supreme Court let states count ballots after Election Day. What else we got here? So those are the one that's coming out. The Supreme Court lets $5 million sex abuse verdict against Trump stand. So we'll see. Everybody's waiting on the birthright citizenship and see how the court.
Sex abuse case.
Yeah. There was he sexually assaulted this young woman, and she sued him. She got a $5 million judgment, and so he took it all the way to the Supreme Court,
and still has to pay it.
Yeah. Now last week the decisions on the temporary the TPS ruling, that's an interesting one for me. And I say it's interesting because it's saying that not only can Trump do it, but any other president can do it, right? So if the next president is a Democrat, he or she could pretty much do the same thing. And I wonder, would they then be able to take back the refugee status that they're giving the white Afrikaners who are coming from South Africa? But I think that people are looking at, it was something, in my understanding, Obama could have done it. Obama at any point could say, you know what, we're rescinding this temporary protection that you have. I think most of us see it for what it is, though, in terms of the Trump administration, that it's another sign of racist application of immigration laws. And but again, I would think in theory, a Democratic president could do the same thing. I think what people, and rightly so, what they're tripping on is the fact that these people that he wants to take the status from seem to be people of color. And certainly the people of Haiti, what do they go back to? They still haven't recovered from the earthquake and then the hurricane. And right now, there is no real government there. I mean, it's lawless. But, it is, I'm sorry. No. So it is, we know it's a racist policy, but at the same time, it depends on what administration is in and how that policy will be implemented. Is it implemented? Yeah, there you go. Let me do this. Someone had put in the chat, we did broadcast live Saturday from the Gubernatorial Forum that coalition of groups, Web, had come together. First of all, it was a really good crowd there. It looked like 300 to 400 people were there. So it was a real good turnout. Because I was actually doing interviews, I didn't really get a chance to hear a lot of the actual forum. And I just wondered, I was talking to someone who was there, and I just asked what their impression was. And I asked, had any of the candidates kind of went like, oh, wow, yeah, I need to get with them. And I didn't get that. So we'll see what happens in terms of going forward. At some point, some people are probably going to drop out. Missy Hughes has already dropped out and put her support behind Sarah Rodriguez. I was talking about the amount of money, politics is money. And there's a lot of environmental justice money out there right now. And certainly they were some of the people that were supporting what was going on there in terms of the forum. So I don't know if I know someone asked me what I thought. Again, I didn't see it, but I'd love for if someone was there, what impressions did they get from the candidates? If they were there, 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Did they leave an impression on you in terms of, because right now I think the two major people out front is Mandela Barnes and Sarah Rodriguez. Now I don't know if that's going to reshuffle. looks like just from some of the recent polling that Mandela Barnes is kind of falling back, you know, in terms of the pack. And, you know, and when it starts off, he has name recognition. You know, he was an elected lieutenant governor. He was in a very, very contested senatorial race. So people, they know his name. But it's something like my mama say, they know you and they know you, right? And so people know you that like you, but people that don't like you know you. So we'll see how this shakes out. You know, the primaries in August, and see what will happen going forward. What else did I have? Oh, let me get back to the BET Awards. You know what? I thought that this was one of the better BET Awards that I've seen in a while. I mean, it was long, you know, it was like Jesse Jackson's funeral, but it was. I mean, it was long, but I mean, some of the folks out there, there's some people, and that's the thing, you know, a lot of the music that younger folks listen to, and it's not until the Hip Hop Awards or the BET Awards that you even know who these people are, or even hear some of the music. And there was a song, the Sister Thames, that she did. I ended up going getting that song because, I got my decision. Okay. Ended up getting some of those songs, and I got that song that they performed, and I knew it was a groove because I was watching Jamie Foxx. If you know, when he was grooving to us, I need to get that because him and his daughter had did a song. I didn't realize his daughter plays guitar. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hey, Keith.
Hey, George.
I was flipping through the channels the other day, and now I can kind of figure out why these white evangelicals follow Trump, right? So I was flipping through the channels the other day. I think it was Saturday morning. And Donnie Swaggart, I guess he has kind of like your show, you know, and Cheryl has this little talk show, and I guess
Francis and Company
speakers.
Yeah.
He has 3 other speakers. Can you hear me better now? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh. 3 other speakers on there, right? And they were talking about open borders, lying on Obama, talking about Obama wanted open borders, just sitting up lying. Obama deported almost 3 million people, and his thoughts on open borders was it was not sustainable, right? And so he sat up and lied about that. But then they were talking about socialism, right? Now let me ask you a question, Keith. Do you consider corporate tax breaks? Do you consider that socialism?
No.
Okay.
I think bailing out.
When we pay for stadiums, when millionaires and billionaires ask us to pay for stadiums, you don't consider that socialism?
Well, socialism in America, if you kind of look at like an expanded definition, is that it's all the good. It's about what's good for society in terms of benefits, libraries, roads, public schools, Social Security. That's a form of socialism. Now I know they're trying to depict socialism as the state controls everything and it's akin to communism, but I think that's different. I think that's capitalism, because capitalists want to maximize their profits and pay the minimum amount of taxes. I don't know if it would be socialism.
That because maybe I'm not understanding. So if I'm asking for free money from taxpayers to help me build a stadium, how's that capitalism?
Is that stadium a benefit to the general population?
I didn't hear you, Keith. Keith? It's hard to hear you.
I said, is that socialism a benefit for the community at large in terms of building that stadium?
How? I guess that's where I'm going.
I'm asking you.
I'm just asking questions because I don't understand. Because here's what he said. Now, if he used the word minorities, when a white person uses the word minorities, what right off the top of your head, who do you think he's talking about when he say minorities?
Black and brown people.
Okay, so he said that minorities want free stuff. That's why they want socialism. And when I scan the channels and I look into his audience, I see plenty of black people sitting out there. So does he think that would be offensive to some of his members when he says that?
Well, I don't know how much you watched Swagger or the Swaggarts.
It triggers. Oh, they talking about us.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if this is consistent with the Swaggarts, one of the reasons why people thought that one of the reasons why Jimmy Swaggart was no longer part of the Assemblies of God was because of his sex scandal. It wasn't because of the sex scandal. It was because that ministry was sending money to right-wing groups in Mozambique, right? And when Obama was president, Donnie used to regularly, he'd run Obama into the ground, and black people would just sit there and they would listen to the nonsense. That's why I call it religious porn. So this is consistent with them. When they did the funeral services for Jimmy Swaggart, they read a letter from President Trump. They're big Trump supporters. They're racist.
And that's where I was going next. I guess that's where I'm really going with all this. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm listening to you.
And that's where I was kind of leading up to it. And that's why I was saying all that stuff. They don't care about the sex scandals. I think I just heard you say something. I was in the kitchen doing something. I stepped out the room but I think you said that the Supreme Court says he's got to pay that money now. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, they let the judgment stand.
And so he can't fight that anymore, right?
That's correct.
So he's got to pay that money, right?
That's correct.
Good. But Keith, and I'm not a saint or anything like that, but to elect somebody like with his moral background in the United States, and they're supposed to be, as Christians, we're supposed to have a type of moral value, correct?
Yes.
And so for them to elect him and for them to follow him, because he was talking them up strong, and like you said, they was talking about putting Obama down, and I'm sitting up, and when he said that we want free stuff, I'm like, what is he talking about? We want free stuff. I think white folks get more free stuff than we do. They fall up under the same things, and that's why I don't never know. And I'm gonna get off the phone. I just want to say this. I never understand how they fall for this okey doke stuff. Because Keith, we probably did a census. I bet you it's more white people refusing food stamps, all that stuff. You watch 60 Minutes sometimes. Them people that's be in those mines and getting this black lung disease and stuff like that he has cut off funding and all that kind of stuff for. Do you know some of them said they would still vote for him again? They're very disappointed in him. But you know that some of them said they will still vote for him again.
Oh, if I don't think at least you're not a nigger, it is not still real when it comes to poor whites.
It's still real, Keith, and that's one of the things. That old saying, you bite your nose off to spite your face.
Right.
It's still real. And you watch a lot of programs. My brother hit me to this show last night, and I watched it. Have you ever watched? They got this show on Netflix. The movie is called 24. Have you watched that?
No.
Watch it. It's gonna piss you off, and it's a true story. Have you watched This Land on CNN yet?
No, I have not. I've kind of watched it a little bit.
It's
but
years that we get ready to celebrate. Every race of people that's here has contributed to what the United States is, but white people want to take full credit for it. So if you guys have not watched 24. I recommend watching. It's gonna piss you off, but also watch This Land if you get a chance. It's gonna tell you from us to the Native Americans to all the stuff that we contributed to this country. It ain't just white folks. Thanks, brother.
All right. And as a Christian minister, I just have a difficult time where certain Christian groups or individuals will separate Jesus' teaching when it comes to the poor and the marginalized. And it's a Calvinism of this whole select, that there's an elect group of people where Jesus really talked about the compassion that we're supposed to show for the poor, right? And I just don't understand. For me, it's a real disconnect. I don't this theology of somehow we don't have to.
Power.
I'm sorry.
Packing in the money, Keith. They rolling in the money.
Who's rolling the money?
From all over the world, and I'm pretty sure there's some Haitians sending them some money, and I'm gonna let it go at that. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, like I said, it's hard for me to reconcile that because Matthew 25 is very clear and explicit to me, and I think even as Black folks, we have a tendency to not necessarily follow the teachings of Jesus. It's a different type of theology that people are practicing. And look, I understand. Yesterday in my message, there's a song, "Let There Be Peace on Earth and Let It Begin With Me." Boy, if you really want to hear a real beautiful rendition of that song, Ricky Dillard does this song. He does the song, and then he rolled in part of "Peace Be Still." It's incredible. But let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And what I'm saying is that one of the things Jesus said that in Matthew 25 later, I think 23, 24, he was saying that if you're at the altar, you realize that you have an issue with your brother, before you worship, you need to deal with your brother. And I think that that has not been a focus. I think we're more concerned about people's lives, their lifestyles. That becomes more important than actually what Jesus talked about, which is our concern for other human beings. So I'm not surprised. This is consistent with Donnie Swaggart. And Donnie, I don't know where Donnie went to school, but Donnie is different than his daddy, where Donnie got an education. But no, they are what they are. They're white supremacists, and they wrap it up in Christianity. All right, you're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a quick break. Caller, I see you. We'll be right back.
On WNOV 860 AM and 106.5 FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice, and the phone lines are open. Hey, something I failed to mention, and can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Something that I failed to mention was in the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was the first hip-hop album to win Album of the Year as a Grammy. So she made history on a whole lot of different levels. I always equate Lauryn Hill to J.D. Salinger, who wrote the book Catcher in the Rye. He only did one book, but that book still sells. That's amazing. So sometimes maybe you don't need to, should Michael Jackson have stopped after Thriller, though Bad was a real good album, but how do you top Thriller? Caller, welcome to the program.
Caller.
Hello, how you doing this morning?
Good.
All right, well, let's get into the pieces right now. We are in this predicament because people choose to be stupid and choose to be dumb, okay? The only thing that this Trump dude has done is made it legal to be racist and make it okay to molest children and touch on the family cat. Now, if people was very bright and smart and intelligent, and when they are, but they choose to be dumb as piss in the toilet, they will see everything he says is the exact opposite. If you are worried about immigrants taking jobs, go do their jobs, okay? They're not doing that, especially the black people, because all the black people doing is sitting at home, getting hemorrhoids, and running to the neighborhood liquor store. And you need to tell that man stop asking for a quarter, okay? Next, I want to put up my flag, but my house ain't fit to be tarnished by no alcoholic, no junkie, no drug addict, and no child molester. And then what irritates me the most, when people go to the religious stuff, and they don't question it, they don't use logic, they just be dumb. They're replacing us. Didn't your who was created from the rib? Was it Eve or Adam? It was one of them. Who was created from the rib?
I'm sorry, you asking a question?
Yes, who was created from the rib?
Eve, right?
You said who?
Eve.
Okay, so if Eve was created from the rib, shouldn't they just go get some more ribs just to make more people? See, this is how dumb and ignorant and dumb that some people choose to be. But instead of them taking ribs, they rather take innocence from little children. And all these religious people ain't said nothing about it. Because if you took every last one of them men out the Bible and some of them women, they would be on the sex offender list going downtown once a month. Okay? With that color purple stuff, he died on top of me. But don't nobody question that. But for the white nationalist Christians, I ain't going to get mad at them because they like effing their own kids, okay? They like messing with the neighborhood dog. They like blaming their kids for being raped. But for the black people who smart, bright, and intelligent, but choose to be a dumb nigga for the skin color, I ain't worried about them because they ain't nothing but toilet mouth MFers anyway. But as long you choose to follow it, if you like it, I love it. I question everything. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what not to question. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what's wrong. Just like the LGBT. Everybody talking about the LGBT, right? But they ain't talking about these men going in these bathrooms and they don't have on no panties, no bras, no makeup, no wigs. These is men with Wrangler jeans, jockeys, and construction boots. They don't question that. You know what I'm saying? But the first thing they say, well, I don't want them going, I don't want to see people going in the bathroom. But the people who going in the bathroom look like the person you voted for. But I just wanted to end that right note. Stop being stupid and stop falling in line for religion. That ain't done nothing for nobody on earth. He's sitting up there drunk, high, probably doing meth, probably snorted about 32 lines of cocaine, waiting for us to come. But you know what's so funny? Have you noticed every time they get blessed, black people don't get nothing? And then the only thing they say, it's God will. Okay? Well, if it's God will, you might have a question with God because you're going to create the devil, but you can't stop the devil. You're going to shame the devil, but brag to the devil, but tell everybody, don't question. It's okay to rape kids. It's okay to break chairs and throw tables up in heaven because people up there hoeing, but can't nobody question when you running with them prostitutes passing diseases and putting off pH balances, okay? But I'm going to leave it with that. Happy Monday.
Oh, my God. Wow. I don't know how happy I will be after that one. Happiness Donuts says civic media, caller Al needs a 1 hour show immediately.
Wow, that's wow.
We close to losing our license.
Man, Doc, listen, the FCC would be here every day. Yikes.
Oh,
wow.
He did say a mouthful, didn't he?
One of them say he about to bust a blood vessel. Jesus.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Get some ribs.
Good morning.
People.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. Assalamu alaikum to you all.
Alaikum salam, brother.
Sure. My name is Christopher, but I understand. You know, I get it. All right. I was just I haven't really been paying attention as much because I'm like really busy and things like that. But I get kind of like an idea. I might be able to check in like for a few seconds and listen to you all. But what I wanted to say is this: is that if we intend, if our intention, this is what God judges your intentions. You know, your intentions. What do you mean to do with the actions that are you about to commit? So when we're being critical of our community, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that our people are expressing the sins of the Caucasians because we have been up under them and we reflect them. We speak their language. We worship the way that they worship. Eat, walk, talk, do everything that they do. Whatever they say is right. We will thumb our noses at what God says is right and be just as contrary as the Caucasian. And so we can't be as contrary as the man of sin when we are attempting to be critical of our own people because we lack depth in our comprehension. We prophecy in part because we know in part. And when I hear people just saying what they say, you know, whatever, I think that these people should take some self-reflection before they completely attempt to vomit upon our community without taking the whole thing into consideration with regard to how we got here, why we were brought here, who did it, and what was the justification for it. You know, so I mean, I mean, like, you know, venting, ranting, and being emotional in your expression of dissatisfaction is not going to contribute to the resolution of our situation. It only will just show, it only substantiate that you're not really you lack comprehension in your understanding when it comes to our experience here in America and throughout the entirety of the world. So I'm not going to talk about our people as badly when I'm a part of our people. And if my life is just as contrary as the way that our people are acting, then who the hell am I to point out the speck in their eye when I got a whole boat in mind? You dig?
I feel you.
Yes, sir.
All right. 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. So are we waiting on Beach now? And then we have the trifecta?
Man, right. I'm sure if he's listening, he'll call in and state his claim.
Yeah, I appreciate Al's frustration. But I would say that religion, like anything else, is a human enterprise, which means that it will have all the brilliance, it will have the profundity, but it would also have, what's the word? It's a perversity. What is perversion? There you go. That we could have that. That's.
But my issue is, you know, I just don't understand why you would blame God for people making evil choices. So that right there shows you that good and evil do exist, right? So you want to blame God for somebody making an evil choice, saying that God could have stopped it. But yes, he could have, but he also gives us free will. Now, if you do something that you know is wrong, there's such thing as karma. There's a such thing as payback. And you might feel like you're getting by, which you might get by, but you would never get away. And
Yeah, but you know what? I think that is. I heard a brother say this. He said it's how we've been taught about God, and I think that there are things that we attribute to God that is probably not God, it's us, and especially when it comes in that religious lens, that we put things out there. There are people believe that God is just involved in everything. I'm kind of going like, your concept of God is rather limited. That's
right.
just my. I think we should have a more expansive view of creation, and even then, certainly we'll never understand it because just the vastness of creation
Right.
Makes it this very difficult for us to understand.
Right.
But because people stand up and say they do it in the name of God, then people are going to point back and go, then I blame God.
Well, again, if people get up and say that they do it in the name of God, and I mean, I can most definitely understand, people blaming God, because that's like with anything else. Like, for instance, and I'm just gonna just take a little turn. When you in the street life and you do something in the name of King Hoover, they go after Hoover, and that's why Hoover's still locked up, because a lot of these crimes that was happening, people was doing it in the name of. So I do understand that.
He was directing a lot of it too.
Well, he was, but after he was locked up, a lot of the stuff that was happening, like people.
My understanding was he was still operating until they put him in Supermax.
Right.
He was still operating. A buddy of mine told me, because he was with him, that they had a phone,
mm-hmm.
and nobody got on that phone. It was
Right.
his phone.
Yeah.
So until they put him in Supermax, yeah, he was still the dude that was running the Latin Kings was still running the Latin Kings until they put him in Supermax. So yeah, I mean, people go out and do things in the name, but some of that was obviously directed by the leadership. I just think it's and especially for how do I say this delicately? People who may or may not have advanced education, and this has nothing to do with being smart. It's like if I take a science class in high school, but I'm not even mentioning college, and I know that the world is older than 8,000 years, right? But if you've been taught that, where you're taking something from the Bible, and see, that's the great danger of what they're doing down in Texas right now, where they're going to allow them to be able to teach parts of the Bible as regular, as a mandatory, as a required class. If you did a class on world religion, right, where you include Islam, where you include Judaism, you include Hinduism, all these different religions, that's one thing. But to get up and to then say that we're going to teach the Bible, because, I was arguing with people as recently as 2 years ago about people, you should teach creation along with evolution. No, you don't. Oh, Keon. Yeah, like I said, because they're two different things. The creation story in the Bible is a metaphor. It is not science, right? And because we've been taught never to question scripture, okay, and a lot of that comes from, and certainly you saw this in the late, with the rise of Pentecostalism, where people begin to say the Bible is the inerrant word of God. Well, scholarship says something different.
Well,
and so,
Keith, hold on, wait, hold on. Say that one more time to what you said. I want to make sure that I heard you right. When you said the creation of what?
that the creation story in the Bible is a metaphor. It is not science.
As far as him creating the heavens and the earth and
No. When you're talking about the actual chronos of it, right? The time, it is not science. Well, I mean, so, and then we've been taught, because you've been taught never to question the Bible, which I think is wrong. That then you go like, well, of course, well, it's telling you, man, that people just didn't pop up on the planet. That is how it works.
Well,
and science is saying that the world, like creation, is at least 13 billion years old.
But
That's creation.
Wait, Keith, but creation is also saying, man, that the earth was formed by a big sonic boom. So that's what.
No, that's not how the earth. The Big Bang Theory says that two universes basically collided and created the stars, created the planets, but it was a collision of two solar systems. I had the chance to go to the Museum of Natural History in New York and actually see this thing, and it talks about when systems collide. So we're talking about something that took billions of years to get to where we are right now.
Now, you do know, man, that the scripture says, man, that a day with the Lord is like 1,000 years. So, you know, the whole, you know, he created the heaven and the earth in 7 days could be 7,000 years.
Okay. So you're about 13 billion years short.
Well, this is the thing, though, because nobody knows time, because man has created their own time frame. So nobody really knows, like we really don't know what time we really living in, because we wasn't around then, and we are finding fossils which are thousands and thousands of years, millions of years old. So it's proven that, man, that something was here, because we are finding bones that can't be destroyed.
But what I'm saying is, and I know sister, I don't hear from her as often as I used to. She would email me regularly, where I said that religion has its own lane and science has its own lane. And I think she kind of took where I was saying God has its own lane. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that at the time, those people who wrote the Bible, wrote Genesis, it was their understanding of science. Now, we can say now that we have evolved in terms of our knowledge base to say that, okay, it's not that. It doesn't make God any less God. As the problem that we have a lot of times is we try to fit God into our narratives, right? Which is a impossible task in and of itself, because, you know, creation is so much bigger than us. And so I say that this is not a deal breaker in terms of whether or not, for those folks who are thinking that your eternal life is banked on whether or not you believe that the earth was formed in 6 days and then God rested on the 7th day. Okay, well, one, if God is all powerful, why would God need rest? But that, you know, that's logic, and excuse me for being logical. I think what we should derive from it is, how do we become the best human beings that we can be, right? That is, regardless of your religion, has it improved or has it modified my humanity? You know, that I'm a better person. But I mean, you know, but there are people out there who literally believe that. And I said, the problem is that there's a thing with your belief, and then there's a thing of facts. You know, I could believe or that I'm 6'8". The fact is I'm 6'2".
Well, I'm gonna say this, Keith. You keep on, man. God gonna grow your legs out your ears.
Oh man, now I see you done put the wrath of God on me. Look at that. Put the wrath of God on me.
You better head detective.
Right.
Black folks so superstitious. Lord. Ooh, you bet not do. Ooh. It's like people say, you bet not cuss in church. Well, you shouldn't cuss, period. So does it make a difference?
Well, yeah, that is true that you shouldn't cuss, period, like that. But you know how, you know, God is still the God of yesterday. So A lot of this stuff that's happening, people don't understand that God has a mean streak too. And
Ooh, really?
and people don't understand that because of certain decisions and choices, God would hold you and your generation, your seed, accountable for that stuff, man. So yeah, man.
But you mentioned something earlier when you talked about karma.
Mm-hmm.
And karma is the non-moralistic, you create basically your future by decisions and things that you do. And Christianity is called seed time and harvest, right?
Yeah.
You will reap what you sow. So it is a lot of this is things that we create, situations that we create that have consequences. And then there are things that's just outside of our control. We don't control the weather, though we can impact the weather. So let God do what God does, because I feel like I got a whole lot that I need to do. And let me point this out to some of my real fundamentalist friends. God don't really need your help.
Right.
That and to get back to when George was talking about Donnie Swaggart, I think that it plays into our tendency as human beings to be self-serving and selfish, and that's the real struggle. How do you become less selfish?
Yeah.
How do you become more humble? And I'm not talking about being modest in that false modesty, and I'm talking about understanding that I am no better than anyone else, and no one is better than me, right? And I'm certainly not God. But a lot of people in our own minds, we're God. And though we'll never say it, and then you get somebody like Donald Trump who actually believes that nonsense.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I try waking up there, folks, and see how much of God you are.
Oh, yeah. It's like I used to hear a particular buddy of mine talk about my church. My church do that. I don't do this at my church. I said, let me ask you a question. Who do you call when your church get in trouble? Because if it's your church, it's your church. Now, if it's God's church, then I think that might be different. But, hey, people are people. You're listening to Community Voice. The phone line is open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
FM with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voice. And of course, the phone lines are open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Let me also do this, man. Good weekend. Let me shout out Brandy Harris. That's Kennedy's grandmother. She sent me some greens yesterday right out.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, Black Jesus. Lord. Man. Ooh, that young lady can make some greens. I don't know what it is. I mean, the taste, the texture. Oh, my God. So thank you, Brandy. Thank you. Woof.
Greens.
And you know what? I hated greens growing up. because my mom wasn't very good at making greens and or cooking them, and but Rhonda kind of got me to eating greens. She would sneak them in, and so man, my top three would be Miss Vernita Lee, Oprah's mama, Rhonda, Brandy, and I'm not putting them in any order. Those are just, and Speed Queen.
Speed Queen greens is trash.
Hey, Keith.
What's wrong with you, man? What is your major malfunction? What is wrong with you?
Speed Queen ain't been the same since Big Mama died, man.
Oh man, no, your taste buds ain't been the same since Big Mama died.
Debo will tell you. Hey, Keith, did you have some cornbread with your greens?
Man, I'm telling you, man, those greens are still slamming, dude. But and look, I'm a guy that don't really like greens. You know, that's part of the problem with me. I don't eat enough green vegetables. Yeah. But
so you know greens are good when you can eat them without cornbread.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And my mama used to eat them with, what was it called? Chow? That chow?
Chow, yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I didn't really start eating greens till I started working for Bungalow.
Really? Okay.
I used to eat greens so much when I was little. We grew them in our garden, greens and cabbage and green beans and black-eyed peas. That was the only 3 vegetables that I knew.
Wait, black-eyed peas ain't a vegetable.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though. But them the only ones I knew. Oh. I'm the only ones that I knew. But I stopped eating greens like when I was about 10.
I tell you what I don't eat, Clark. I don't eat cabbage.
Oh, I love cabbage.
But I eat coleslaw. But I don't eat cabbage.
Boy.
Carla, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
All right. So I know I called here before, and because of my nerves got the best of me, might sound a little crazy, but I mentioned Malachi Z. York, and I wanted that y'all take a look at him at all, because he was sent here. The spirit that is within him is Anu, which is in the Bible. You say amen. He's here on earth. And hold on, my nerves getting best of me right now. But yeah, he written over 1,000 of books for anything that you need to know about creation and how we were seated here from the Orion and Sirius star systems. So he's been here, and the people in that's running these countries, you know what I'm saying? They knew he was here. They knew he was coming. So right now he's locked up, and we've been trying to get him out, but he's been teaching us for over 50 years since he's been here, and he tell anything that any question that you have, he wrote in a book. So he give us information that's already here from the history on, and then he also give you information, which is stuff that we might not be able to. We never experienced, or you know what I'm saying. We don't have the mental capacity to, you know.
Excuse me, brother.
You know what I'm saying,
brother.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Who did you say?
His name is Dr. Z. York, and the being that is in him, as I knew, Yanu. He had many names, and if you know him from ancient Egypt, it's Tahuti, which the Greeks called Thoth. I have books that I would like to bring to you, if you like. But I was just I've been studying for 5 months now. I've been listening to OSM Vision, which that's a YouTube channel, over a year now. And every question that any question that you have, they will answer it. They are the student teachers, and he don't go by like Malachi V. York. He don't go by no Messiah or anything. He's the master teacher. So in your books, he actually taught your Jesuses. All your major characters in the Bible, they all went to Egypt, and that's where they learned the the things that they need to know. I can't think right now, but I'm kind of nervous because I'm on the radio. So just look them up. They put all kind of stuff on him. You know what I'm saying? To make them look bad and stuff, and they lock them up. If you when they come down to that part, just study the case. Look into the case. Don't go by hearsay. Just study the case, and you will know that he been falsely accused of the terrible stuff they say he did.
Okay. All right, man. Appreciate you.
He had a low hole landing in Georgia too.
Okay.
He had a whole big Farrakhan speaks about him. Everything.
Is that what's his name?
They all knew about him. You know what I'm saying? He was he had a big influence on the conscious rappers. You know what I'm saying? So even the rappers, they couldn't, after a while, they couldn't mention his name no more.
All right. Well, appreciate you, man.
I can't hear you, though. So I'm going to let y'all go, man. Thanks for letting me talk for this long.
All right. Hey, Right Out.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear me say I appreciate you 3 times?
I did. I tried to push the button, but it's just like when people in church and they talk, or they singing that song and they just won't end the song. Like,
man, I said I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I said it 3 times, man.
Hey, though, you should have sung it.
Hey, Zebra, S3N. My mama used to fry up so much cabbage. I never want to see another fried cabbage. I don't want to. No, I just, we ate so much cabbage and greens and green beans. Yeah. I mean, hey, look, man, we wasn't rich.
Right.
I can tell the people who had money, because if we were lucky, my mom might get a can of High C, but the people with money, they got Hawaiian Punch.
Or Weilers.
Weilers. As opposed to real Kool-Aid, we had to drink the Weilers. And you know what? And you talk about how life sometimes can take you on these journeys. When there used to be a store over on Green Bay, now King Drive, right across the street from the Harpo building there on King Drive, and it was called Learners, next door to QF&H. And man, I remember going in that store, and in the front of the store, they had this big bin, and it was like Jiffy, right? Boxes of Jiffy. And you could get Jiffy for $10 for $1. And I kept thinking to myself, see, that's what po folks eat, because my mama, she'd make real cornbread from scratch. But man, I'm a Jiffy guy today.
Jiffy.
Oh man, that's cake. Call it what you want to call it. And I know half of Black America is divided over Jiffy. We've talked about it numerous times on my program, that half of Black America is divided over Jiffy, like half of Black America is divided on whether or not you put salt and butter on your grits, or whether you put sugar and butter on your grits. I understand that's a great divide among our people.
Sugar.
This is sugar. They call that porridge.
Say that again.
Porridge.
Porridge. Oh, porridge.
Porridge.
Man, listen, man. You supposed to put sugar in rice. Supposed to put sugar in grits, oatmeal, cream of wheat.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do, man.
No, you don't.
Put you a little bit of salt and butter in it.
No, that's all you need. A little salt, a whole lot of butter, and Oh, wait a minute now. And now I add cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I add cheese now. So
yeah, add the cheese.
Yeah, now my nephew down in Florida, who is a chef, he made some grits. I'm telling you, boy, want to slap your mama and her mama. That's how good those grits were.
Man, I had somebody fix some grits one time, man, and this what really turned me off from grits, because when I put them in my spoon and went to taste them, it was like gravel was in it, like it was rocks. But come to find out that I guess that they didn't cook it long enough. Yeah, they didn't cook it long enough. Yeah, and I was like, "What is this, man?" But somebody said, "Love some fried cabbage."
Yeah, that's what I was reacting to. Man, I don't mess with it. I don't.
Yeah.
I think one time, this is a Parkman story, but I think I ate some cabbage and I had gas real bad. So after that, I never wanted to eat cabbage again.
Oh man. Oh man. Tell you off the frame, huh?
Oh man, it got me off the piece. I was talking to my niece, Amaris, who Maris was part of the Nation of Islam, and she became Muslim. And so we were trying to figure out what me and Rhonda was going to eat for dinner. And I had called Speed Queen, and Maris had this look, because Maris can give you this look like, oh, I'm just so disappointed. She never says it, but it's just registered. And she go, Uncle Keith, she said, did you say that the reason why you didn't join the Nation of Islam when you were 14 was because they told you you couldn't eat pork? So that's a true story.
I can't eat pork. Oh no, I
can't eat pork. Oh man, no, that is a true story. That is, because I had gone down to Chicago. I had seen The Messenger. I saw Elijah Muhammad. That was an experience. It's like, boy, like experiences in my life. That's one of them that just stood out, man. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna join the nation. And so when the brother was talking to me, and God bless him for just being fully transparent, he said, little brother, now you're gonna have to give up the pork. And I was going, so do you mean by pork like bacon? Ham?
Oh, Willis.
Yeah, I mean it then I felt so guilty because it was really good. I had looked this up because I was fascinated why Judaism was so against pork. And if you go into Deuteronomy, there's all these other things you're not supposed to eat. Lobster, you're not supposed to eat catfish, any kind of scavenger, all those things you're not supposed to eat. But they had a very special place for pork. And one of the Jewish scholars was saying that maybe it was that, what is it called? Trichomonas, this parasite that hogs would carry, and people would get sick from it. Because look, a lot of times your dietary things or your prohibitions is based on what people saw and the negative health impact that it had. People act like there's things that are done in vacuums. No, they're not. And understanding the science of that time, that it might make sense if people are eating this and then they're dying from it, then we definitely don't need to have it as something that would be kosher, or, as I said, Islam halal or allowed. What was the other one, though? Oh, like shellfish. Now, I got a seafood allergy, so I can't eat shrimp. Shrimp will kill me.
Really?
Yeah, I can't eat shrimp. Rhonda has the same seafood allergy. So it makes sense in terms of some of the stuff we do. It's really, what is the health impact that it has on your life? I think that's it more than anything else. One of the things about this back injury, and I've lost weight, well, part of it was I could sneak downstairs at 10:30 to get my 10:30 snack because it hurt so much.
Oh man.
Yeah, because at 10:30, man, it was like clockwork, man. I'm downstairs, whatever's left over. I got a little bit. I'm gonna eat a little bit of this, eat a little bit of that, whatever begins. But now I hadn't been able to do that for almost 3 weeks. So, man, I just realized those little lifestyle changes. Like, dude, because it hurt too much. I'd get down here to eat it, but I couldn't get back upstairs. So, yeah. So anyway, brothers, thank you again. Thank you, man. Appreciate you all. As always, Clark, man, appreciate you again. Thank you for Saturday.
Thank you.
Man, and let me shout out Douglas. Man, when I came in, I had on my little WNOV shirt. The security's like, yes, sir. You're gonna go right down to they're looking for you. You're gonna go right down. So it was cool. It was really good. Hey, Jermaine, thank you.
Yes, sir, indeed.
All right. Caller, thank you. Hey, y'all, the good Lord, well, the creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.